Guys, this is S&P 500 weekly technical analysis for the week of August 12th. On Monday, there was a heavy gap down open, 3% down, and then we have seen S&P 500 came down but failed to hit the 200-day EMA, and there was a retrace. Now, question is that where the S&P 500 is heading to? In the near term, the S&P 500 is heading to 5395. Now, this 5395 will be decisive for the S&P 500. Just like here, we have seen 5531. 5531 was decisive, but because there was not even a single closing above 5531, then we have seen down, down and down, and 8% fall in just 3 days. So in the similar manner, the rule of 5531 will also be applicable to 5395. This means we need two closings. If there comes one closing above 5395, fine. In that case, we can expect that the S&P 500 can sustain. But if there comes two closings above 5395, clearly two closings above 5395, in that case, we can say that yes, now any fall is expected to be limited. Rather, the S&P 500 is going to sustain, and also S&P 500 can move up further, and also the trend which has changed to bearish. See, the recent trend because of this heavy fall on August 5th, okay, the trend was changed to bearish. So this is the recent trend that was changed to bearish. It will also change to either neutral or bullish. Not bullish actually, but at least to neutral. Okay, so this will be the role of 5395. This is why since Wednesday, I'm continuously updating to my Patreon community members that now 5395 is the target, and this is what S&P 500 is looking for. But for the 5395 to come into the picture, there is a strong support zone. S&P 500 must sustain, must close, must keep on closing above this strong support zone. And on Friday, we have seen that the S&P 500 not just sustained above the strong support zone, but also above this the strong support level, further confirming that S&P 500 is moving towards 5395. This can be seen either on Monday, as early as on Monday, or in next 2 to 3 days. However, guys, let me tell you that now the S&P 500 is reaching to the junction. It is 5395, and there is one more strong resistance level. It is reaching to the junction which is going to define the near future of the S&P 500. If the S&P 500 fails at this the junction, continuation of the bearish movement, more fall will be there, and it will be heading to the correction and then the recession. If the S&P 500 sustains and keeps on closing above the strong junction, in that case it will regain its bullish trend. So I will discuss all of this in detail in this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. Now guys, I am going to discuss the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. The first point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the weekly chart. So this was my previous S&P 500 technical analysis, and here we have seen a pattern. Okay, and through this pattern we were anticipating a reversal or a retrace or a bullish movement. However, because of this heavy gap down open, S&P 500 failed to give a clear bullish candle. So on Friday, S&P 500 breached the previous closing by 11 points, and it came into the condition as mentioned in the previous S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. So we were anticipating a fall up to this level 5226 or a little below, but then a reversal, or in any case whatever will happen, there will be a reversal. So I will discuss all of this, the bullish trend, the bearish trend, and the last chance for the S&P 500 here on this the weekly chart. Next comes the second point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, clearly we have seen that there is a bullish retrace, but the trend has changed to bearish. Okay, so this bullish retrace is now heading to 5395. 5395 will tell us whether the S&P 500 can go bullish or if it will enter into the correction and then the recession. Okay, so I will analyze the chart of the S&P 500 as well as the Dow Jones, because it is not just the S&P 500. See, S&P 500 is bearish, but the Dow Jones is neutral. Dow Jones is not actually in the bearish trend, it is in the neutral trend. So it is the Dow Jones which is helping the entire market to sustain. In case of the S&P 500, it is the Nvidia. Nvidia is a meme stock. Anyways, the third point of the agenda is the probable movement of the S&P 500 from August 12th, which is Monday, to August 16th, that will be Friday. So just like last week, we were anticipating that irrespective of any fall, any movement, there will be a bullish retrace. Anyways, I will discuss all of this in the last point of the agenda. And guys, once again, let me remind you that when I say the probable movement, I cover the probable movement in the first part and also in the second part, because I discuss the candles, weekly candles, daily candles, and candles are the most important part of the technical analysis. So that is why I strongly recommend to watch all of these three sections in order to understand what is going to happen in the S&P 500, how that is going to happen in the S&P 500, and why that will happen in the S&P 500. So guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. Now guys, I am going to discuss the first point of the agenda of this technical analysis. So here I will do the technical analysis of S&P 500 on the weekly chart. This is the weekly chart. Weekly chart means one candle represents 1 week. So before I discuss the candle, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And if you are looking for these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now let's talk about the candle. It is a bullish candle, clearly a heavy bullish candle or a very heavy bullish candle. As such, this heavy bullish candle indicates that now in the next week there will be the bullish movement, or there should come the bullish movement. This means that on Monday we can see either a gap up open or irrespective of any open, an initial bullish movement. This is confirmed by this candle. However, you must understand that as soon as S&P 500 moves above or around the closing of this candle, which was 5344, then this condition or this technical condition will be fulfilled in that, and after that it may move up or it can come down. So it is free to move up or to go down, not a problem. Now this was one thing. So although this candle is heavily bullish, indicating bullish movement, and also in a manner it is telling us that there might come a bullish reversal. Okay, fine, everything looks good, that this the bearish movement, okay, might not come any. But there is a problem with this the candle. Okay, and what is that problem? This was the first bearish candle. The closing of the candle was below the closing of the previous candle. This was the second bearish candle. The closing of the candle was below the previous candle. Third bearish candle, closing of the candle was below the closing of the previous candle. Fourth candle, wherein the closing was below the previous candle. So this was 5346. Okay, this is the third bearish candle. This candle, the closing was 5344. Now you might think, okay, it is just 2 points. No, then no. This is the stock market. Okay, even a difference of 1 cent can make or break the market. Okay, and here we are talking about 2 points. So what does it mean? This means that this bearish movement is allowed to continue. There is no problem as such, because if you notice, first bearish candle, second bearish candle, third bearish candle, and then a reversal. And then a reversal. This candle closed above the closing of the previous candle, and also the subsequent candle managed to do so. It has changed the trend, or not changed the trend, but it actually brought the S&P 500 back into its bullish trend. Okay. In this case, this is the fourth candle. This fourth candle is a heavily bullish candle, but the closing is below the 5346, which was the previous closing. That is why the S&P 500 will remain under pressure. The bearish movement is technically allowed to continue. This also means that 5395 we are talking about. Okay, even if the S&P 500 breaches 5395, but again, see, if there comes closings below 5395, then there is no point of bullish movement. Okay, that is very much clear. In that case, it will come down and this and this. Okay, but even if there comes a closing above 5395, one closing, okay, then also we will have to wait for the second closing. If there comes two closings above 5395, in that case there will be good chances that the S&P 500 can sustain above the previous closing above 5344. However, there will be no certainty, no guarantee, nothing 100% that S&P 500 will be able to sustain and to move bullish. No, nothing. Okay, only a good probability, good chances, but no certainty. That is why we will have to wait until Friday, until 16th, until August 16th, Friday closing, to see whether the S&P 500 is closing above 5344 or below 5344. If there comes a closing below 5344, then most likely or highly likely 90%, 95% it is heading to the correction. So this fall will continue, and then from this all-time high to 15, 20, 20% means 4,500 something, 20% that will be there. Okay. This will not happen instantly. It will take a few weeks or so. Okay. And also remember, on Wednesday, the inflation data will be published. Okay. Now this inflation data, again, it will act as a catalyst. If it goes in favor of the bulls, then most likely S&P 500 is going to move up further, and chances will be less that it will come down. Okay. Or bearish catalyst means it will come down. However, on Thursday, retail sales data will be published. Now recently this heavy 3% fall or so, it was because of the weakness in the economy. This means that next week the retail sales data will be more important as compared to the inflation data. This is why on Wednesday we might see that S&P 500 is not giving any specific movement, rather S&P 500 is waiting for, so not S&P 500 but the Wall Street or the stock market is waiting for the retail sales data. Once there comes the retail sales data, then depending on the data, if there comes an improvement, then fine. If not, in that case again 2 to 3% heavy gap down open, and there won't be any more bullish movement. Correction, 20-25% correction will be there. Okay. So I think the picture is clear. Now let's take a look here. This is the Dow Jones. This is the weekly chart of Dow Jones. Again, a good or a heavy bullish candle indicating the same thing, gap up, open, irrespective of any open and initial bullish movement or so. But the closing is again below this previous close, and also the closing is below the moving average, strong moving averages. So that is why, even though it is supporting a bullish movement, but at the same time it is weak. Just a small thing, a small trigger or anything, okay, just a little spark, okay, can just break the market. Okay, but the good thing is that the Dow Jones is more bullish as compared to the S&P 500. Okay, but next week, the next week picture will be quite clear whether it is going to move up or it is going to come down. Not just Dow Jones or S&P 500, but the entire US stock market and the global stock markets. Okay, so by Wednesday and Thursday, it will be very much clear, right? Now let's take a look into the technicals. Okay, so in terms of the technicals, what we know is the moving averages, okay, is still a clear fan out in the moving averages supporting bullish movement, but the closing is inside the moving averages, so neutral. So in this case we will consider that moving averages are neutral to the S&P 500. Bollinger Bands are also kind of neutral or bearish. Okay, Ichimoku cloud clearly bullish. S&P 500 is bullish through the Ichimoku cloud. Now comes the most important part, and here MACD. MACD is clearly bearish, heavily bearish. At the same time, the stochastic RSI is also bearish. So if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel for last many months or years, then you know that whenever MACD and stochastic RSI are aligned in a particular direction, then that direction becomes the direction of the stock or the index. Right? In this case, the S&P 500, the MACD, moving average convergence divergence, and the stochastic RSI both are aligned bearish on the weekly chart. So this heavy bearish pressure is coming through the MACD and the stochastic RSI. Okay. Other than that, the overbought and the saturation, no, that is not there. Okay. So what we can see here on the weekly chart of S&P 500, that S&P 500 is or will be considered as 70% bearish. It is not absolute bearish, but it is just 70% bearish on the weekly chart. And in case of this, the Dow Jones, and guys, once again, Dow Jones is just for the reference. Okay. Now here, in case of the Dow Jones, moving average is clear, fan out. Okay, closing is inside. Again, moving averages are neutral. Okay, Bollinger Band says bullish. Chimoku cloud is bullish, but again the same problem. Okay, until last week it was holding bullish, and it was at the junction, so it was 100% confirmed that it will come down and it will go bearish irrespective of anything. MACD is bearish, stochastic RSI is bearish. Because MACD and stochastic RSI both are aligned in the bearish direction, so this is the direction, and that is why the pressure is on the Dow Jones. The similar case is seen in the NASDAQ, and NASDAQ is heavily bearish as compared to all of these indices. Okay, so here it means that the Dow Jones, so Dow Jones here will be considered as 50-50. Okay, it is neutral. It is neutral on the weekly chart, whereas S&P 500 is 70% bearish on the weekly chart. And because of this bearishness, if there comes even a small trigger or even just a small, okay, or a little bad news, that can also trigger the fall. But whatever is going to happen or whatever will happen, I will keep you posted through these daily precise updates of the S&P 500. If you are my Patreon community member, and guys, if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. So before I proceed further, I have this information to share with you. This is my stock market knowledge transfer program, or S&P 500 knowledge transfer program. Through this program, I teach the movement, strategies, trend analysis, technicals, predictions. Prediction means predicting the movement even before it is seen in the stock or in the index. The motto of the program is to help you become self-reliant, and this program is delivered one-on-one basis only. And whatever you are going to learn here, it will be applicable to any stock, any index, any currency, any commodity, crypto, or anything that is traded in the stock market. This is my email address, and I have given the link to this program in the description of the video and also my email address. And this is the Google spreadsheet. More details are there in the Google spreadsheet. So when you open this Google spreadsheet, then you will see that I have mentioned in detail that what I'm going to share with you, what I'm going to teach you here, trading strategies, okay, and the options and the options trading and the options calculator, live option calculations, and predicting the option price, okay, even before it is seen. So here I will discuss both of these options, premium calculator, binomial, and Black-Scholes. Then the support and resistance levels for next 5 years. Okay, and if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel for last many months or years, then you know that my support and resistance levels, okay, are heavily trusted or heavily overweighted by the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. Then how to deduce the trend, and how to deduce the limit, how to find the limit, okay, how to deduce the trend even before it happens or it is seen in the stock market, okay, and all of these. And other than that, these are some important terms and conditions, and these are the snapshots of the recent meetings. So guys, if you have any questions that you want to ask related to this program, or if you want to participate in this program, then this is my email address, and also I've given the link to this program in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, I am going to discuss the second point of the agenda, and that is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the daily chart. So this is the daily chart. Daily chart means one candle represents one day, not 1 week or 1 hour. One candle means one day. Now, it's a bullish candle, but it is not a heavy bullish candle. But guys, before that, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are looking for these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. So now the candle. It's a bullish candle but not a heavy bullish candle. Closing of the candle was below the moving average. We have seen S&P 500 was struggling to clear the moving average. And that is why on Friday, in my second update to my Patreon community members, I mentioned that in the second half, we can expect S&P 500 to trade in between 5359, that was the moving average, and the nearest strong support level. So we have seen S&P 500 tried moving up. It hit 5359, failed, and then settled at 5344. Okay. Now, here, so what I'm trying to say is that even though it is a bullish candle, but it is not a heavy bullish candle, it failed to close above the moving average. This means that there are bullish sentiments, but these bullish sentiments are not heavy. Also, this bullish candle does not confirm any gap up open. There is no confirmation of the gap up open. But yes, this bullish candle along with the previous bullish candle does indicate that irrespective of anything, these are bullish sentiments are going to prevail in the initial hour, okay, or in the first half on Monday. Because of that, we can see some bullish movement. On the weekly chart, what we have seen, a gap up open or irrespective of any open and initial bullish movement. On the daily chart, it is gap up open is not confirmed, but yes, a bullish movement irrespective of anything. Okay, we can see that the bullish movement that is there. So this means that irrespective of anything on Monday, we can expect or we can anticipate some bullish movement, and we can anticipate S&P 500 will breach 5344. As soon as it breaches 5344, either in first 15 minutes, first 1 hour, first half, or whenever on Monday, whenever it breaches 5344, this condition will be fulfilled. Okay, but highly likely, most likely this will be fulfilled on Monday itself in the initial hours. Okay, now this was with the candle, and yes, the candle of the Dow Jones. Now here in case of the Dow Jones, again, okay, a bearish movement on the daily chart, okay, is clearly seen, but it is not a heavy or a good bullish candle. It is just a normal bullish candle. It is neither indicating a gap up open nor indicating an initial bullish movement. On the weekly chart of S&P 500, we have seen it was indicating a gap up open or irrespective of any open and initial bullish movement. But the daily candle is neither indicating a gap up open nor the continuation of the bullish movement. So overall, considering everything, we can say that irrespective of any open on Monday, we can expect bullish movement. Now the next question is that does this candle confirms that S&P 500 will be able to move up and breach and will change the trend? No, not at all. Okay, only the weekly candle has that the potential, but not the daily candle. Similarly here also, this the candle, the daily candle, but here the Dow Jones is in much better condition, because here the Dow Jones is trading above the Ichimoku cloud. Okay, it is not in the confusion, whereas S&P 500 is trading inside the Ichimoku cloud. It is already in the confusion and is and its condition is worse than that of the Dow Jones. Okay, now yes, the technicals. So in terms of the technicals, okay, clearly bearish, 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 everything is bearish. Okay, MACD is bearish, stochastic RSI, because of this, okay, this the movement stochastic RSI is changing to bullish. Okay, that is the only change, otherwise it is all bearish. It is neither overbought nor oversold. Okay, no saturation, nothing. So overall on the daily chart, S&P 500 is seen 80% bearish. Okay, on the weekly chart it was 70% bearish. On the daily chart it is 80% bearish. The Dow Jones is in better condition. Okay, here if you notice, it is trading above the Ichimoku cloud, but moving average is clear fan out, bearish movement. Okay, Ichimoku and Bollinger Bands are bearish, and MACD is also bearish. Stochastic RSI is trying to go bullish. So the Dow Jones here on the daily chart will be seen as 65% bearish. Okay, 65, around 65% bearish, whereas on the weekly chart Dow Jones was 50-50. This means that Dow Jones has the potential to regain its bullish trend. right? Whereas in case of the S&P 500, it has to move up heavily, sharply, heavily, like 3 to 4% minimum, 3 to 4%, and it must trade above 5,500 or so, so that we can say that now it has regained its bullish trend. Okay, so 4%, around 4% movement, okay, should be seen, 3.5 to 4%. Okay, so 70% bearish on the weekly chart and 80% bearish on the daily chart. Overall, S&P 500 is bearish. And that is why with confidence I was able to confirm and predict that even if the S&P 500 moves up, then also it doesn't have that much potential that it will be able to breach and move or sustain above the moving average. It will struggle. A little breach may happen, but again eventually it will settle around the 5359, that was the moving average. So guys, if you also want to get the daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, and you want to know what is going to happen and how that is going to happen, what will be the support and resistance levels, how the S&P 500 is going to react to those levels, then you can join my Patreon community. And guys, it is not just about the daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, but I also give the stock market opportunities to my Patreon community members every week, minimum 5 to 10 in the premium stocks of the US stock market. So guys, if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. And when you follow that link, then you will see that this is my Patreon page and this is my Patreon profile. And here you will see that there are these two tiers. This is daily S&P 500 updates for non-US and Canada residents. This is the daily S&P 500 updates for US and Canada residents only. So whenever you subscribe to either of these, you will be getting daily S&P 500 analysis, updates, probable movement, and the opportunities minimum 5 to 10 every week. And guys, if you notice, many people have joined my Patreon community for last many days, weeks, months, years, and they are getting these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, and also the stock market opportunities in the premium stocks. And they know that what is expected to happen, what will be the limits, and if something is happening, then why that is happening. So guys, whenever you want to join my Patreon community, I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. You can follow that link and you can join my Patreon community, and you are welcome. Now guys, I am going to discuss the third and the last point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis, and here I will give you the probable movement of the S&P 500 for the next week, means what is going to happen in the S&P 500 from August 12th, which is Monday, to August 16th, that will be Friday. Okay, so I'm going to discuss everything here. And guys, once again, let me remind you that when I say the probable movement, I have already covered some of the probable movement in the weekly chart section and also in the daily chart section. And through the weekly candle, okay, I have discussed in detail that why we are anticipating a bullish movement and also why we are anticipating the continuation of the bearish movement even though the sentiments are bullish. Everything through the weekly candle. So guys, if you have skipped these two sections, weekly and the daily section, then it is recommended that you should watch these two sections. Although I'm going to give you most of the probable movement here, but I will not discuss the weekly candle and the daily candle again. Okay, so I have discussed that in very detail and I've shown you, okay, the conditions for the bearish and bullish movement. So now for the next week, what we know is that on Tuesday, PPI data will be published, producer price index. Wednesday, CPI data, inflation data. Thursday, retail sales data. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The most volatile days are Wednesday and Thursday. And the most volatile of these Wednesday and Thursday will be Thursday. Okay, because retail sales data. Earlier, earlier this retail sales data, it was not much considered by the Wall Street, okay, or the global stock markets. But now, because recently we have seen a heavy decline in the economy or in the economic condition, that is why this retail sales data will tell us whether that decline is continuing or if the data that we have recently seen, okay, that was just an exception or so. Okay, so Wednesday, Tuesday PPI data we are not expecting that stock market will give heavy movements, okay, because PPI data is generally not considered, okay, as heavy as compared to the CPI and the retail sales data. So now one more thing that you should understand, that if in the next week, Wednesday or Thursday, if the market gives up, okay, because of the inflation data or the retail sales data, if it gives up, then be ready to see 20% or 25% correction in the stock market, in the S&P 500, okay. The NASDAQ is already on the path of the correction, okay. So this was just a reversal, or you can see that first, second, third, okay, and now fourth round of selling, you can say, okay. So it will depend on that, the Wednesday and Thursday. Now let's talk about the numbers and the movement. But guys, before that, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And also, whatever is going to happen in the next week, I will keep you posted through these daily precise updates of the S&P 500. So if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then you can join my Patreon community. I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now, in terms of the numbers, what we know is that 5395. Okay. This is going to act as a tiebreaker. A tiebreaker means a sustained movement, back-to-back closings above this level means bullish. Sustained movement, back-to-back closings below this level means bearish. Okay. So this will be the very first indication, 5395. You can say the first or the best indication to understand or to know whether the market is going to sustain or the market is going to fail. Okay, so 5395 will be there. Now, if the S&P 500 sustains, let's say that there is a condition wherein S&P 500 sustains and gives closings back to back above 5395. Wednesday and Thursday also the data comes in favor of the stock market. Okay, the retail sales data and also the inflation data comes in favor of the stock market. And yes, there is one more thing. If on Monday and Tuesday, if the S&P 500 is able to give two closings above the 5395, then it will bring the S&P 500 in a condition wherein we can say that there is a good probability or a heavy probability that S&P 500 is going to sustain in the bull side, but there will be no guarantee, no confirmation. Then who is going to give this guarantee or this confirmation? It will be the inflation data and the retail sales data. So what happens on Monday and Tuesday, it will not matter much. But what happens on Wednesday and Thursday, that is going to matter a lot. Because if there comes a closing above 5395 on Wednesday and also a closing above this the 5395 on Thursday when the retail sales data will be published, there comes two consecutive closings on Wednesday and Thursday. This is what is going to give a kind of guarantee or confirmation, 100% confirmation that now the market is going to trade bullish. Okay, but to be on the safe side, we will also consider the Friday. Although there is nothing on Friday, but because these 2 days will be heavily volatile, so Friday. So these 2-3 days, if there comes this back-to-back closings, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, back-to-back closings above 5395, okay, then it is confirmed that now the S&P 500 and the market is going to regain its bullish trend and it will trade bullish. Okay, and then the bullish movement will continue. However, if there comes a fall or a closing below 5395 on the Wednesday, but there comes a closing above 5395 on Thursday because of retail sales data, then again we will wait for the Friday, because we need these two closings. See, we need Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, S&P 500 must close above 5395 irrespective of anything. Then only we can say that the bullish movement is going to continue or the bullish trend will remain in the picture. Now, if there comes a closing below 5395 on Wednesday, no problem. In that case, the next day, Thursday and Friday, there must come two closings. These are back-to-back closings above 5395 in order to confirm that the market will remain in the bullish trend. If there comes a closing below 5395 on Wednesday and also below 5395 on Thursday, then it doesn't matter what is going to happen on Friday, next week or so, it doesn't matter. It will resume its bearish trend. Even if there comes a, means in this case, a closing below 5395 on Wednesday, closing below 5395 on Thursday, but a closing above 5395 on Friday, doesn't matter, because it will be seen as bearish. Okay, this will be a bearish opportunity, because now the data has confirmed, volatility, everything has confirmed. Okay, so only bearish. So this means that what happens on Monday and Tuesday, it will not be much reliable. Means if there comes a closing above, or this Monday, Tuesday, there comes back-to-back closings above 5395, but then it closes below 5395 on Wednesday and Thursday. So it doesn't matter what happens on Monday and Tuesday. But what we know is that by Monday or Tuesday, S&P 500 can try to move up to 5395, can even breach 5395, or will be seen trading around 5395. Now this 5395 is one strong level, okay, that we are considering as the tiebreaker. Okay, however, in actual there is a zone around this 5395. Okay, and this is a strong zone around 5395. This means there must come, if there comes closings above 5395, but the closings are seen inside the zone, in that case what will happen? In that case it can sustain, but that 100% guarantee will still not be there. The 100% guarantee will be there only when there comes these two closings above the zone. Okay, closings above 5395 back to back means there is 90% certainty or 90% guarantee, but 100% guarantee and confirmation only when it clears the zone, moves above the zone. So that is the heavy condition or the only condition. This means that even if the S&P 500 breaches 5395, then also this breach will be limited to the zone itself. Okay, or to the upper level of the zone itself, or any breach from 5395 will be limited to the zone. So just like what we have seen here on Tuesday and on Wednesday, okay, this was clear, and I have informed my Patreon community members that no, if it fails at the zone, it is going to come down no matter what. And then we have seen 2% intraday fall, 1.5% intraday fall or so. But on Thursday, it managed to sustain and close above the zone, and then on Friday, so that is why we are anticipating 5395. So 5395 is just one level, but the zone in actual is what is going to create this heavy resistance or heavy support for the S&P 500. And one more thing, if the S&P 500 sustains above 5395 and this is the zone, then where it will be heading to? It will be heading to the high of this candle, that was 5566. Now it may or may not gain 5566 in the next week, but once it sustains, once it resumes its bullish trend, in that case next to next week it will be 5566. Okay, so this will be the next potential target for the S&P 500. But remember, this 5566 will come into the picture only and only if, I repeat, only and only if the S&P 500 keeps on closing above 5395 and the zone itself on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. If not on Wednesday, then on Thursday, Friday it must give back-to-back closings above the 5395 and the zone. And one more thing, now this zone is more important because the moving averages are also around the zone. So that is why this zone is very, very heavy. Very heavy. This means only a favorable inflation data and not or and the retail sales data has the potential to breach the zone and to help the S&P 500 to sustain and close above the zone. Otherwise nothing. Now let's talk about the bearish side. Now bearish side is very simple. Okay. So if you remember on the weekly chart, okay, I've shown you the candle, weekly candle, and I've shown you that although everything is supporting bullish, but because the closing of the candle was 5344 and the previous weekly candle was 5346, okay, last week, so only this the 2 points difference. Because of that, so continuously 1 2 3 4, okay, that is why it is still under pressure. This means that even a little spark or even a data which is generally not considered by the stock market, but even if that data also comes bad for the stock market, then that can also trigger this the bearish side movement. So now in the bearish side, again 5395 as the reference point, okay, and the zone itself, as I mentioned, that any breach of 5395 will be limited to the zone, and that's it. Okay, now if the S&P 500 remains below 5395, see what happens on Monday and Tuesday doesn't matter as such. Okay, and I've cleared this point. But as of now, considering everything, S&P 500 doesn't have that much of potential to clear and to sustain and to give 3-4% of bullish movement on Monday and Tuesday now. Even if the S&P 500 try to move up on Monday and Tuesday, then also it is going to struggle around 5395 or at the zone because of the moving averages. Okay, but the zone itself, it is going to struggle. So it is expected to remain at or around the zone. Okay, a little up down is okay, not a problem. Now, this is the 5395. So if the S&P 500 remains around, okay, and also on Wednesday inflation data is published and the S&P 500 and this inflation data goes against the stock market, in that case stock market will be forced to come down. Okay, come down in a manner that the closing will be seen below 5395, okay, or around 5395, right? Because in that case what will happen? In that case the Wall Street will then wait for Thursday, the retail sales data. And also there may come a condition wherein the inflation data comes in favor of the stock market, and there comes a heavy bullish movement on Wednesday, and now we are assuming or we are thinking that now it has gone bullish. No. We must wait until Thursday, because Thursday will be the retail sales data will be published. So if there comes very heavy bullish movement on Wednesday because of this favorable inflation data, okay, then this might be seen as a bullish trap or a very heavy bullish trap. Okay, once the retail sales data is published on Thursday, then based on that data, if the data comes in favor of the stock market, then this bullish movement will be sustainable, and then the bullish trend will be there, the resumption of the bullish trend. If the retail sales data is seen unfavorable, in that case whatever gains will be seen on Wednesday, these gains will be reversed. There will be more fall, means whatever S&P 500 has gained on Wednesday, in this case all of that will be reversed, and even there will be means heavy gap down open, because this retail sales data will be published before the open of the stock market. So heavy gap down open, everything will be reversed. Okay, that is why I am saying that by Thursday the picture will be quite clear what is going to happen, whether the S&P 500 or the stock market will be able to resume its bullish trend, or if it will go for this a 20 or 25% correction and then eventually into the recession. Okay, so recession is still, it is subjective. Okay, some are saying that there will be recession, some are saying that there might not come a recession, but yes, now everyone agrees to the correction, 20 or 25% correction. Okay, so this will be the case. Now in terms of the numbers, what we know is that once there comes a closing, okay, a closing in a manner, let's say there comes a closing above this 1, 2 or 3 closings above Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday closings above the 5395 or the zone, okay, or inside the zone. But then on Thursday there comes a closing below, just one closing below 5395, then what will happen? This one closing will negate the gains of the previous 3 closings, and then it will compel the S&P 500, force the S&P 500 to resume its bearish trend. So this means that any bullish side movement from the previous closing is expected to be limited to around 2% or 2.25%, okay, in the bull side. Whereas in the bearish side, okay, once there comes a confirmation that no, there is no good news for the stock market, okay, then in that case what will happen? It will come down. Now this downward movement, initially it will be limited in a manner, means the S&P 500 will be reluctant to give up. Okay, why it will be reluctant to give up? Because of the Dow Jones. Because see, Dow Jones has regained the Ichimoku cloud, it is trading around here. So now the Dow Jones must come down, must trade below the Ichimoku cloud, so that the S&P 500 should not show any more reluctance and it should come into the free fall. Okay, so now whenever it comes down, in that case there is a strong support zone. Now whenever the S&P 500 comes down, it will show reluctance. It will show reluctance around 5239. Okay, it will try to sustain at 5239. However, now 5239 is not strong, not as strong as it used to be. This means that any fall from these levels for some time, for 1 hour, for 3-4 hours or so, it will be limited to this 5239. Once it loses 5239, then comes 519092. So you need to understand that once it clears, once it comes down, once it is rejected from the 5395, once it loses the 5395, in that case it is heading to the correction. It is not like that it will come down, sustain, and then again will move up. Then no, then it will be heading to the correction, and the intensity of the fall will increase once the Dow Jones loses the Ichimoku cloud. There comes 2 consecutive closings below the cloud in this the Dow Jones. Then the intensity of the fall will increase in the S&P 500 and also in the NASDAQ. But whatever is going to happen or whatever will happen, I will keep you posted through these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday if you are my Patreon community member. And guys, if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then in order to get these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. So guys, hit like if you have liked this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet subscribed. And guys, if you have any questions that you want to ask, then please feel free to ask your questions through the comment section. So guys, this was my S&P 500 weekly technical analysis for the week of August 12th. Means from August 12th, which is Monday, to August 16th, that will be Friday.